Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us here at the Atlanta News First Alert Desk. My name is Alan Devlin. It's a pleasure to have you guys on board with me this evening. Let me make sure my audio is good to go here before I jump into it. And it is. I can hear you. You can hear me. Everything's good to go. Today is the final day of July before we jump into the month of August. That happens to be my birthday month, so it's one of my favorite months of the year. But, it also just shows how quickly we're moving through these summer months. Things are flying by, in my opinion, and we're going to have First Alert meteorologist Patrick Pete up here in a little bit to talk about the weather, because I can tell you right now, it surely feels like summer out there for the time being. Want to jump right into it tonight, as we always do here at 8 o'clock. You can catch us here at every night at 8 o'clock for the most part. We've had some terrible tragedies strike Lake Lanier over the weekend. 3 people, at least 2 people dead, 1 presumed dead after separate incidents that happened on the lake, and they're still searching for that third person right now. But as I said, lake officials do confirm that they are presumed dead at this hour. So what we have is this mess of just these incidents that have occurred where the first one, a 61-year-old Tracy Stewart, jumped off of a boat and started struggling in the water. They tried to throw him a life preserver, but before they got it to him, he went under and drowned there in the lake. And then the second incident was also bizarre, where a 24-year-old, this gentleman right here, Thomas Milner, was electrocuted at the lake. He went into the water and didn't surface, and then someone went in to get after him, and when they got in the water, they felt a burning sensation that they recognized as an electrical shock. They got out of the water. It took them a while to get Milner to shore, and then they cut the power at the dock electrical box that was right next to the dock, assuming that a loose wire had gotten into the water. He was electrocuted there in the lake after jumping in, and that's just one of those freak accidents. And we spoke to some neighbors that said, it is a freak accident, it is a one-off, but incredible how stuff like that can happen. And then that third person went missing, went underwater, did not resurface. They have not been found yet. So it was a deadly weekend, I should say, at Lake Lanier this past weekend. And it just goes to show you how dangerous water can be, how not having a life jacket, how dangerous that can be. And so just make sure you and your loved ones, as you continue to enjoy the summer months, continue to enjoy the water, whether it be the lake or the beach or whatever it is, do whatever you can to stay safe. Do whatever you can to protect yourself and others. And even in one of these instances, it was a matter of electrocution. So that's not necessarily something you can think about before you jump into a body of water, especially a lake. But it is terrifying to think about for sure. I want to move forward on from that. The next story here has to do with going back to school, because what we have is a massive school bus shortage, a school bus driver shortage, I should say, where there are tens, sometimes over 100 bus drivers that I guess bus driver vacancies, spots that aren't filled by a bus driver. According to our most recent stats, Clayton County, for example, has 35 positions they need filled. DeKalb schools, though, they've got 150 empty bus driver spots they're trying to fill. So what does that mean for you? That means your kids likely will get picked up later or dropped off later as bus drivers double up on routes. That means your kids might be late to school, which means they're going to be missing valuable lessons in the classroom, time with their friends, time with their teachers. Crowded buses where bus drivers might be carrying, 40 kids on a normal route, but that might bump up to 50 or 60, which means your kids are more packed into a seat. Not to the point where it's unsafe, just where you have kids, if you've got younger kids and they're getting on the bus for the first time, or they're nervous about riding the bus going to school, that might make them a little nervous when those buses are a little more crowded. So if you know someone who is looking to get paid because they are upping the pay for bus drivers, and who is looking to help, or I guess looking for a job right now, looking to help these school districts as they're clamoring over bus drivers, let them know that many districts in the metro are hiring right now, looking to fill those vacancies, and they need to do it fast, because a whole slew of districts are going back tomorrow. Butts County went back today. We had some districts go back last Friday. August 1st is usually that starting point, and yet we still need to hire bus drivers. That is where we are at right now when it comes to figuring out who's going to be driving and transporting your kids safely to and from school 5 days a week. The third story I want to talk about here is one that I guess started in College Park, but it's going to be spreading to Union City. We're talking about micro homes this time around, small little communities that are popping up and allowing people to afford houses, affordable homes, a fraction of the cost of normal houses that end up being darn nice. 1,000 square feet, multiple bedrooms. This is pictures. What you first saw was what the land is now, and these are designs of what they want the land to be. So the owner, Booker T. Washington, no, not that Booker T. Washington, he owns opened up the current micro home center in College Park to grand success. He wants to expand to Union City, and this is that plot of land where he wants to expand to provide more access to micro homes here in the metro community. A lot of work to do. They are not there yet. This is the one that's in College Park right now, and these houses are nice. I would move in yesterday if I was given the chance. And he wants to double up. They're smaller, like I said, 1,000 square feet, about the size of a normal apartment, a little bit bigger than a metro apartment, I should say. But they are not what you would consider downtrodden. These are really nice houses, and they're great opportunities for people that maybe can't afford a full-scale house but want to move up to home ownership out of an apartment to actually build that equity, build that ability to actually plan down their future, where you're not just throwing money away in an apartment, you're putting money towards something that will increase in value, an appreciating asset that is. So right now, again, it is in College Park, as you saw right there, and is slowly going to move to Union City, where the owner is looking to double the amount of affordable micro home spots we have here in our city, the first black-owned micro home community as well, by that gentleman right there, Booker T. Washington. Another story I want to talk to you guys about here, the last one I've got for you before I turn things over to meteorologist Patrick Pete, is a wild story, I should say, where a local metro school lost AC. Now, mind you, it is hot outside, but school is not in yet. Staff members were on site. They were sent home, and it's all because of a tree that went down.
The AC unit went out here at Henderson Mill only because a tree fell on a power line, knocking it out. You can see it's not operating right now, but I am told that once that power is restored, maintenance workers tell me this AC unit will be ready to cool the building. In the sweltering 90-degree heat, DeKalb County maintenance workers cleaned the chiller at Henderson Mill Elementary 1 week before the first day of school.
With this blistering heat that we have right now, a lot of our AC units are working overtime and trying to keep up with that hot weather. So units are going to go down.
There are 140 schools and 14 million square feet of conditioned space across the county. As a result, it's a year-long process to maintain the air conditioning units.
Units are going to go down. Our guys are going to respond. Our team members are going to respond. We're going to get that fixed. And if we can't, we have portable spot coolers at a minimum that we can bring into the classrooms and or offices, plug them in and get cool air running again until we can get that unit repaired.
When the coil is completely clean, you'll see different areas.
It's a similar scenario at other school districts across Metro Atlanta. As of right now, Cobb, Gwinnett, and Fulton counties are all reporting no outages and fully functioning units.
The team here, round the clock, we're monitoring all the air conditioning right now. We're using all the building automation. We have teams on standby. Here in DeKalb County Schools, on the first day of school, we're going to have a member from our facility services team present at every one of our 140 schools. And that is there to be our first response in case something happens.
And DeKalb maintenance workers told me that while they're servicing AC units like this right now, they're also beginning to think about checking the heating units at all of the schools for the upcoming winter. Not too early for that either. In DeKalb County at Henderson Mill Elementary, Adam Murphy, Atlanta News First.
It sure isn't too early for that, because I'll be honest, I'm not sure what's worse, being too hot in the summer or too cold in the winter. But it looks like they're going to get all that stuff squared away for your kids for their first day of school, so everybody is comfortable no matter the season. I want to take you guys outside real quick. Live look from the top of the perimeter overlooking Midtown and downtown Atlanta. You can see two separate, this isn't Midtown and downtown. That's Buckhead and Midtown from our Skycam there in Sandy Springs area. I'm going to bring in meteorologist Patrick Pete, who's going to walk us through a hot weather system, I'm sure, and then also some summer storms that might be popping up, some first alerts in the forecast. Patrick.
Yes, sir. The good news here about this heat that we're going to be talking about for tomorrow is that it's not going to be as uncomfortable as some of the humidity that we were dealing with last week. So good evening. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday, getting it together up here for you. There we go. Good angle. Thank you for joining us for this weather update. And the good news, outside of the heat, tomorrow is going to be a pretty comfortable day because those dew points are going to be lower. We're talking about upper 50s, low 60s at worst for our communities, which means great. Now, those are dew points, so that's basically how we tell how humid and how comfortable things are going to be. Temperatures are still going to be in the 90s, so going to be unseasonably warm for sure. As far as the next few days, the forecast is going to be drier. There's a little bit of moisture trying to seep in Wednesday, but right now there's just not enough guidance for us to even throw any rain chances there. But the better chances for showers and storms will arrive Thursday and Friday. So we've thrown 2 first alerts because, hey, listen, kids are going back to school this week. Some kids went back today, some going back tomorrow. It's going to be a busy week for a lot of folks getting back into an old habit. And unfortunately, Mother Nature's going to throw a wrench in the plan. So with showers and storms around, it's days to be alert. It's days to make sure the kids have their umbrella and make sure you have yours too. The good news, a lot of you are looking to make plans for the weekend, and at least as far as Saturday is concerned, that is trending a little bit drier than some of the guidance earlier this weekend was looking. So that's great news. Saturday's looking like a day that most of you are going to be able to make some outdoor plans. I told you that the dew points tomorrow are going to be in the 50s and low 60s, and that means that as we head into the afternoon, it's just going to feel pretty comfortable. Yeah, it's going to be in the mid 90s, but it's not going to be as bad as it would be if those dew points were about 10 points higher. That would have us in that very humid, tasteless category. So definitely a win for sure. You will notice it tomorrow afternoon if you are not going back to school. If your kids aren't going back to school, you have the day off, or if you have a late start like some of us do, you could actually go out by the pool earlier in the day. And I'm actually going to go ahead and green light a nice run for all of my runners. There's lots of marathons that have this is marathon season. Folks are running 26.2 miles for fun. If you are trying to train for that, tomorrow's going to be a great day to do that outside and not on the treadmill. If you're like me, you hate running on that treadmill. So that's some good news in the forecast. And as far as the daytime forecast, the kids heading back to the school, the bus stop out the door, we're talking low 70s in the city. Now, if your kids are in the suburbs outside of Atlanta, I do expect you to be a few degrees cooler. So that means you could be upper 60s for that bus stop forecast, but we will trend hotter in the day. We're expecting those temperatures to easily climb into the low 90s for the evening commute. Less humid is going to make that bus ride a little bit more comfortable than it would be otherwise. Temperatures are going to top out in the mid 90s and we cool down through the overnight. Starting off with numbers, Wednesday morning for the bus stop, near 70 degrees across most of the region. We'll quickly get into the 80s as we push into the afternoon. You can see cloud coverage increasing Wednesday. We're also going to see those dew points creep up Wednesday as well. So it will not be as comfortable outside Wednesday afternoon as what we're tracking tomorrow. Extra reasons to get out and enjoy that. As we head into the evening hours, things start to quiet down. We'll see cooler temperatures, but we'll start to watch for more moisture as we head into your Wednesday. Thursday at 7 a.m., we will notice mainly dry conditions, a couple of spotty showers not out of the question. But we're really watching the afternoon hours because that's where that first alert comes into view. And here's a look at 3 o'clock, and you can see where we're tracking at roughly 2 to 4 is showers and storms that are going to be pulsing through our area. Just as a word to the wise, this is the similar setup that we saw a couple of weeks ago where we were tracking pulses of storms moving through the area. And since this is several days out, we may have to modify that timeline, but we're going ahead to give you the heads up because we know that moisture is coming in. We know we're going to have some short waves, some pulses of energy that move through. We know we're going to have showers and storms firing up, and we're going to continue to fine tune this timeline as we head through the next day or so. This pattern, just to be quite frank and quite transparent with you, I actually just got back from Boston. I don't know if you noticed it. Maybe you didn't. Last week, I was in Boston for 3 days at one of our weather conferences. Meteorologist Fred Campagna was at a conference the weekend, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before that. Part of our discussions have been this pattern around the ridge and the northwesterly flow and how a lot of our models, while they pick up on a lot of that moisture, as far as getting that timing right, it's just a struggle because it's such an interesting feature where you're waiting on these pulses of energy to kind of develop and how they move. So definitely something that we get better better with the less time in between the event. So, the night before, the morning of, we typically have a better lock, and we're within that 1 to 2 hour window. But this is something that you'll want to check back with us as we head through the next couple of days to fine tune that forecast for you and get that pulse timed out for you. Right now, that looks to be like an afternoon, early evening pulse. Things start to dry out as we head through the overnight, but we're watching for more of that moisture as we head into Friday. There's an earlier pulse, and then there's a later pulse. So it looks like we're going to have 2 opportunities to pick up on some showers and storms on Friday. Looks like there's a little bit more energy in the atmosphere Friday as well, so we're going to have to watch that for the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms. Right now, still, once again, several days away. We can kind of see that there are some of the ingredients that are lining up, and that's why we're giving you that heads up, and that's why we're first alerting for those showers and storms. Meanwhile, keeping an eye to the tropics, we've been watching a couple of different disturbances over the last few days. I think at one point there were actually 3 different disturbances that had at least some probability of development. Now we're watching 2. There is an area of low pressure that is kind of hanging out just to the north of Bermuda, not just to the north, but north of Bermuda. That system doesn't look too impressive, only about a 10% chance of development over the course of the next week. It's moving into higher latitudes, cooler water, more wind shear. That's going to be the story behind that one. The other one that's further south has about a 70% chance of development, and that one is trying to get its act together. You can see we're losing a lot of convection around it. If we can get that to kind of be self-sustaining over the course of the next week, we could easily get a depression out of that. That one has a higher probability, about 7 in 10 chance over the next week. So we'll keep an eye to that. Neither one of those look to impact our forecast close to home. The main takeaway here is going to be that you want to enjoy tomorrow, because it's going to be pretty awesome considering it's going to be 95 degrees. Bold of me to say that. I know that 95 degrees is going to be comfortable, but whenever you look at it through the lens of last week's weather, 95 will be pretty manageable with low humidity tomorrow. Meanwhile, the forecast trends a little bit more humid Wednesday. We're still mainly dry. We may have to nudge that high down a little bit. Looks like we could see a little bit more cloud cover. A lot of the guidance that we've been getting into the Weather Center over the course of the last 2 hours has trended a little bit more cloudy, which would block some of the sun. So if you watch us tonight or watch us tomorrow and we bring that number down to 89 or 90, that's just going to be because of that cloud cover. Nonetheless, 2 first alerts Thursday into Friday, scattered showers and storms. Looking a lot drier Saturday. We kept a 20% chance of showers because there was at least a pulse that looks like it moved through the mountains. We'll continue to fine tune that over the course of the next couple of days. Looks like the bulk of Sunday is dry, but there is a chance for some showers and storms late evening, and then we're tracking that rain chance lingering into Monday. So hopefully you guys got what you needed from the forecast. I'm going to head over to YouTube to see if anybody's commenting. I see a lot of y'all are watching. Hey, what's going on? I know some of you are also joining us at home on some of our streaming platforms, Roku, all of that good stuff. Thank you for joining us there as well. And if you hold tight, we're going to have a fresh rundown of the news of the day coming up at 9 o'clock and 10. And then, of course, that final look at everything you need to know before you go to sleep at 11 on Atlanta News First. So since there are no questions in the chat, I am going to leave you to the 7-day, let you reflect on that, make your outdoor plans tomorrow. While you're out at the pool tomorrow afternoon, I will be here getting a better handle on these showers and storms that are moving in Thursday and Friday. So y'all have a fantastic Monday evening.